How many of you do orientations? Okay. Let's brainstorm ways to think about doing orientation a little differently, because this is a really interesting kind of issue. How about new staff versus old staff? Who has the advantage? Old staff, right? Because old staff know each other. So think about, how many of you have been in the position, you're a new staff person coming in, old staff are there hugging, kissing, being with each other, and you feel kind of like uncomfortable, right? Left out. How do we manage that? What do we do with that? Is that okay? Or should we think about that a little differently? Making a team up with new staff? Maybe having an old staff member link, mentor, right? Train, right? Is it okay to have your old staff be there at the same time as new staff? Because most of us do that. It's fine, but we have to be sensitive to that, more aware. How do we want our old staff to kind of help? Because they have an advantage. On the social pyramid, who has the advantage, old staff or new staff? So how can we use old staff to help us create a more balanced group of camp staff? What do we want them to do? Team them up? That's good. What else? Anybody? Yeah?
The stories, the shared experiences that build that. And so the pastor, I think you can get the whole group to share a common experience. Then they have common language that they can talk about. So it's the old staff were talking about last year. It's everybody talking about this year. So I always try to get into that quickly. So we have
Common ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Other thoughts? What else can we do? Yeah?
I usually meet with my returning staff prior to new staff coming in.
Okay, let me say it, no one's going to hear you. Meet with returning staff meet with old staff prior to new staff coming in. And what do you share with them about that?
Just the expectations, and then remind them how they felt when they were the new counselor, and to try to branch out and not huddle up.
Share expectations that you may have. Ask them to put themselves in the shoes of what new counselors felt like, so they can be more sympathetic to the new group coming in, right? That's good.
Kind of go back to rides and going out, I think that a lot of our staff, even a lot of our good staff are great when you're intentionally team building and doing those things, but it is the times when you're going somewhere or at night when it's over and people get back, and you can intentionally get some of your ones or whoever
Right.
to descend into the new people or people who may be a little more uncomfortable and empower them to go and help you by making friends and pulling people in an informal.
Yeah.
When it's not the regular.
Expected, right?
The non-regular day is what kills you, to me. At meals,
Yeah.
split people up, and but I would also add,
Okay.
you have to give your old staff time to reconnect with each other.
Yes, you do, and that's why a lot of camps.
You don't let them.
Right, I agree. I think let me repeat some of what he said. But first of all, many camps now have old staff back a day before, so they can link up first, and then you intentionally give them opportunities to make new staff feel part of the group, not just during the day, but when the day is over, during mealtime. Is exactly right. Rather than have all your old staff sit together, you ask them to kind of break up, right? Meet 2 or 3 new ones, 2 or 3 new staff people a day. And at night, you set up activities, even after the day's done, for old staff to be leaders and bring new staff out with them. Take them out. And make sure that everyone's covered. You give them 3 or 4 names that they're responsible for in a way that shows leadership. That really builds their willingness to do that, but they won't do it unless you talk to them about these kind of things, right? Because they don't think about it. You know, when their day's done, they just want to go out and have fun. But it's one thing to be behaving a certain way during camp. If it ends when the day's done, and then their real behavior comes out, it still leaves new staff feeling apart from the group. So you can really build a solid foundation by changing that. Now, staff exclusion. How do we know if staff are being left out? What do we look for? I remember, was that? Go ahead.
I would say a lot of, for personal experience, I would say that a lot of it happens with the particular job that you have,
Mhm.
because you end up being with that specific program staff, and that specific counseling staff, and so a lot of it occurs with that, like, oh, you're in the kitchen, oh, you're in the, oh, right, oh, you're in the barn, like, and no one mixes as a result of where you are.
Right, so it's,
Preconceived notion.
so you have a natural grouping.
Yeah.
Right. The question is if other groups, if other staff want to join you, how you treat them, right? If you're inclusive, no problem, right? If your staff, if your orientation is set up to kind of bring staff together, even though you're in different groupings, the better, or during the season. But sometimes we see staff who literally do not want to have anything to do with other staff. And that sets a pretty difficult role modeling situation. I was at a camp last year, and the first night, it was first night of staff orientation. First night, there was a group of people who wanted to go out to the bars, right? And they had a few cars, and they rallied their group, and there were people waiting to go, and it was like a clique of them just huddled up, took the car, the staff car, and that was it. Left the whole group behind. And it felt pretty bad for the ones left behind on the first night. Now, were they intentionally being mean? No, they didn't think about it. So it's not that it's always done intentionally, but the effect of that can be painful for those who don't feel like they're part of the group. It sets a tone. So we have to think about the way that we organize things even early on, or it's really easy for staff to feel that they're moving to that bottom, and we don't want staff to feel like they're in the bottom.